Today on the channel, we're going to be checking out one of Discovery Optics' newest offerings. This is their HD 2-12x24 MPVO rifle scope. Now, you guys have all heard of LPVO rifle scopes, which of course stands for low power variable optic, but this is an MPVO. So this is a medium power variable optic. Typically with an LPVO, you're going to have a magnification range of like 1 to 4, 1 to 6, 1 to 8 being the most common. Well, this little guy here is a 2 to 12. So you don't go all the way down to 1 power, but you do get several levels of magnification over an LPVO scope. And the cool thing about this MPVO is that it is the same form factor as an LPVO and even smaller than some of the LPVOs I have. So I'm pretty excited to get to test this thing out. It seems like a pretty nice scope. Before I show you what it all came with, let me show you what we're gonna do today. We're gonna go ahead and mount this up on my Talon SS here. We're gonna be replacing this primary arm scope, which is a fine scope, but it is quite a bit bigger than this. And the primary arms here is a 4 to 14. On a 30 foot-pound gun like this that I'm really only using at 30 yards and in, I don't really need all that magnification, and I'd like to reduce the bulk. And this is the perfect ticket to do that. So we will go ahead and mount this up. I'll figure out how to get a scope cam mounted on it. But first, let me show you what's in the box. Time to give you the simulated feeling of splendor that you will get when you open your very own Discovery Opt HD 2-12 MPVO scope. So of course, we've got some nice packaging. Foam in there protecting it on its ride to your house. We've got a little sunshade that just goes on the end there, kind of protects you from any glare. I'm not going to use that today, but very nice that they include it. We've got a manual, we've got a lens cloth, we've got a special little tool, and that's to take the turrets on and off. You can also use a coin. I'll show you that closer up here in a minute. And then we've got the specs here. So I'll try to get that in good focus, but of note here is 33 mil of elevation and windage adjustment, which is a ton to cram into such a small scope. So I was surprised by that. And then also it has a really good eye relief. So if you need to, go ahead and pause the video and take a look over those specs. But a ton of value you're getting in this scope. And of course, there'll be a link in the description and comments for this thing that does help the channel. There may even be a discount code. So always check there, guys. But let's take a close look at the actual features of this thing. So number one, the turrets. I've been on them and working with them to basically say, hey, let's get rid of Allen keys as much as possible on your turrets and make it way user-friendly by having something that everyone can just easily reach in their pocket and adjust. And so everyone's got a coin in their pocket or a house key that's going to fit into those slots, or you can use the provided tool to loosen those. So after you're done zeroing, loosen it and then set it back to zero. So perfect there. The machining on this thing is really nice. Of course, we can see that it is a 2 to 12 power, and then it's got a side parallax wheel even. So tons of features here, and that parallax is down to 5 yards, which is perfect for a lot of the varminting we do here. And then also, if you notice the additional cap there, that takes a 2032 battery, and that provides illumination for the reticle. So you get a ton of value for $189 on this thing, and I'm pretty stoked to get it mounted. They also give you the scope caps on there, so you're not searching Butler Creek and looking for the right ones. They already come with it, so you're covered there. Now that you know what's in the box and what it comes with, and you've been given a brief overview of the features, let's get this thing mounted up on the Talon here, and we'll let you peek through it. Okay, because of how short this thing is, I did have to put in a 3D printed spacer, that orange spacer right there, but I think I've got it playing pretty nice with the scope cam. So next we'll take a look at some various distances here and show you kind of the clarity and the illumination and whatnot as if you are looking down the scope yourself. All right, so let's take a look through this thing. I think I've got it playing pretty nice with the scope cam, and I do apologize about the noise. My neighbors are ripping dirt bikes, and after this video I'm probably gonna go rip with them. But anyway, that stump right there is at about 6 yards, and I'm parallaxed all the way down to the lowest setting of 5. And this is at the 2 power magnification here. So let me go ahead and zoom in on that. I'll try to be stable, but this is difficult to do. All right, so that's 3, 4, and we'll go the full range. So that's all the way up to 12. And with the scope cam, my reticle's blurring, but the image is really good quality. So we'll back out a bit. Let's look at my 10-yard log pile. Now this is where this scope really shines, because that 10-yard log pile is definitely where I shoot a lot of chipmunks out of. So I'm adjusting my parallax to 10, and we can see I've got a huge field of view, and it's pretty sweet. So that's 10 yards, and then let's just zoom all the way in. I'm at 2 right now. We'll keep zooming in. And that is pretty good, my friends. I am enjoying this scope so far, and it's a lot lighter weight than the other one, so it's making my gun feel pretty svelte. Okay, so we'll look at my 20-yard log pile, and I'll adjust the parallax for that. All right, so that's fully zoomed out, and honestly, even at 2 power, like, that's awesome for shooting chipmunks, but I think I'd probably usually be around somewhere between, so that's 4, I'd probably be somewhere between 4 and maybe 8, so that's like 8 right there, and we're pretty zoomed in at 20 yards. All right, so that's the full 12 right there, and we can see some good detail on there. Let me back out again to like 4, and I'm going to activate the illumination. So let me try to look at something kind of darker. So you can see it's got really nice illumination in there. 6 settings, that is on the highest setting because it's daylight right now, so I wanted to at least make it so that you could see it. And I don't know if you can see, but there's some additional lighting down there. Let me zoom in for you. At 8 mil and 12 mil, they're just like little red dots down there. So it's kind of cool that they did that, but that's how the illumination works. And then let's look out also at my 25-yard log pile. All right, so I'm zooming back out. So that's at 2, and the clarity here is really good. And it seems, I'm looking down on the side shot, and it seems like this is playing pretty good with the camera. So I hope this footage is coming out. Of course, anytime you do scope cam footage, it's less good than your naked eye. But all right, so that's about halfway through the range. That's at 6 power, 25 yards. I'm just going to zoom in all the way to 12, and we can see real nice detail on a lot of the wood and logs and everything there. So I'm thinking this thing looks pretty good. And you know, I think for me, probably right about 6 power right there, that is perfect for dropping warheads on foreheads of chipmunks. So let me back all the way out, and then we'll just look down my laneway here, and I'll show you guys kind of some further distances. Okay, so that plate right there where my crosshairs are, I'm sitting at the shed, so it's actually like 154, 155 yards, and I don't know if you can see it on 2 power. I'm going to adjust my parallax to like up near 100, and then I'll just zoom in. You know what, I'll go to 150, and I'll just try to zoom in on that plate to let you guys see sort of what the quality looks like here. All right, and that's all the way zoomed in, and for sure, if this rifle was capable of shooting 150 yards accurately, I could easily use my holdovers there and put some hits on that plate, like if this was on one of my Pantheras or something. So the fence right there, that's at about 120, and if I zoom all the way in, we can see some pretty good detail there. But anyway, that should give you a pretty good idea of the magnification and how this scope looks. So right there, all the way zoomed out, and if I'll just zoom into a random spot, and that's all the way zoomed in. So hopefully that gives you a good demo and example of what this thing can do. I'm pleased with it so far. So we'll wrap up here with some final thoughts. All right, King, so that is going to do it for the Discovery Opt 2-12 by 24 MPVO scope. I think it is awesome, and look at how it looks on that gun. It really chopped down the weight and the overall profile of this rifle, and that's exactly what I was going for. And I didn't want to sacrifice optical clarity or quality, but the lenses in here are pretty damn good, as you saw in the various distances that we looked at. So a lot of features. You've got the easy to take off turrets for re-zeroing. You got scope caps included. You got illumination. You've got side parallax. I mean, what doesn't it have? And especially for 190 bucks as of the filming of this video, that is an awesome price for everything that you get. So check out the description and comments for some links. If I have a discount code, I'll always put that in there for you. That helps the channel. So I'm trying my best to keep this channel unmonetized via YouTube, meaning you never sit through commercials, but I need more people using those links. So use the Amazon links, use the High Pressure Pneumatics links. Thank you if you're doing that. Hopefully this video was helpful to you, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.